Welcome to We Are Women, Unapologetically, the podcast that talks about the good, bad, ugly, and awesome. Careers, life transitions, confidence, and everything in between. Because shift happens, but you don't have to do it alone.
You are finally doing something for you. You are breaking outside of the box you've been put in. You are starting to make changes in your life. And now all of a sudden, people that have supported you are confused. They don't quite understand what you're doing. Let me tell you this, growth will challenge your relationships every single time. And why is that? Because growth is not comfortable. You are not losing people. You are outgrowing previous versions of yourself that made them feel comfortable or safe. Welcome to We Are Women Unapologetically. My name is Jessica Cumming and I am your host. This episode is for the woman standing in the hallway between who she once was and her future evolution of where she wants to be. Because the truth is, as you are walking down that hallway, you're quickly going to realize not everyone is walking with you the way that you hoped they would. We are going to be talking about why the people in your life may not necessarily understand the professional or personal transition that you're going through, or your reinvention at all. But most importantly, we are going to talk about how you navigate those relationships without abandoning your own evolution. Because here's the deal, you can be loving, yet have boundaries. You can be compassionate, yet unapologetically clear. And you can absolutely build that life that you want, even if others don't understand it. This is not a career shift. This is reclaiming your power. First, we're going to talk about why even people that have always previously supported you may be resisting your change. I mean, let's call it what it is. When you evolve, your relationships feel it first. Even the most loving and supportive people can start to act just a little bit different. Not because they've stopped caring, but they're not exactly sure how they fit into this new version of your life. You see, when you grow up, you become a mirror. And not everyone likes what they see in that mirror. So if you're making changes and other people in your lives aren't, it's not a reflection on what you're doing that scares them. It's more of a reflection of what they are not doing. Your bold choices may disrupt the role that you've always played. It may challenge their assumptions about what success and security really are, and make them fear that they may be losing a place in your life. And most of the time, when this shows up, they don't even consciously know that they're doing it. They'll say things like, "You're doing what?" Or, "Why are you doing that?" Is that even realistic? You've been so stable with what you've been doing. Why now would you want to make that change? Research from the Harvard Business Review states that over 70% of people, when they're making a career shift, are met with resistance. It's honestly not a fluke. It is the cost of choosing growth over predictability. And quite honestly, neuroscience confirms it. Uncertainty registers in your brain the same exact way that pain does. So when this change happens and they hear about it, you're disrupting the norm. And people around you actually feel it in their nervous system before they can even name what's happening. But what really is it that can separate success from stuck? It is not about avoiding resistance. It is about knowing how to navigate and push through it. And that starts with owning your story. Let me share with you what this looked like for me, because I have been in that hallway and it's still pretty fresh in my mind. When I decided that I was going to start my own business, become a master certified professional coach, expand my speaking engagements outside of one company, launch a podcast, this was met with a lot of people that were excited for me. They were ready for my journey. They had been wanting me to break outside the corporate box. But they also knew there was a little bit more of instability. It was grinding. It was not submitting resumes and working for someone else, having a constant or steady paycheck every 2 weeks. So they were met with a little bit of resistance for that. And it came from a place of concern and care. But there was also people that straight up didn't get it. They were like, well, why would you want to do that? Why would you want to start your own business? Why now? Why you? And the reality is that for me, it came down to what I knew deep in my soul. I was not only number one meant to do, but number two, what I was good at. And number three, I had a voice, I had a story, and I had the opportunity to help and encourage so many other people than outside of just one company. And that was just a little bit too much for some people to handle. I had people say to me, you're not going to apply for any corporate roles? How are you exactly going to make money doing this? Wait, so you're just going to coach people now? Like that's your role? Like what does even a coach do? I mean, is it a therapist? Like, there's other people for that. Those were the types of questions that I honestly got. And it's okay. I knew at that point I had a choice. I could try to educate them in the best way possible and continue to move forward in my calling, or I could succumb to the negative voices that were throwing at me different ideas. And I really could have just stayed in the corporate world. And to be honest with you, there were times that I did think about it, but I knew at the end of the day, it was not what was going to make me happy, ignite the fire, and keep the fire burning in my soul. And so here we are. And look, I get it. For a lot of people, this is a non traditional career path. And that's okay. They were given a completely different blueprint to the path that I'm on right now. To them, I was throwing away security. But what they didn't see is after years of frustration, being burned out, not being completely aligned or happy with what my purpose really was, I was choosing me. Let me say it again. For the first time in my career, I was choosing me. And it felt damn good. Is it hard? Absolutely. Are there moments of self doubt? Absolutely. Are there long hours and possibly even longer hours than some of the jobs that I had had previously? Absolutely. But guess what? That also existed in my corporate roles. The difference now is that I'm building something that I believe in. Now, don't get me wrong, everything that I had built previously under a different company name, I still believed in. But now it was my name associated with it, my path, my choosing, my guidance. I'm my own ride or die. I'm the one that makes this succeed. So, yes, there are still people that do not fully understand what I do, why I do it, who I do it for, and they're still waiting for me to go back. And that's okay because I am no longer explaining my purpose to people who are only comfortable with my past. And I want you to think about that as you are on your own journey. So if you've been multitasking, come back to me and I'm going to say it again. I am no longer explaining my purpose to people who are only comfortable with my past. I'm not here to be understood by everyone. And I have made that very, very clear in every single episode that I have done of this podcast. I am here to build with and who is aligned to my purpose. And if that means shedding relationships that no longer serve me or my purpose, I'm okay with it. Not out of anger, but out of growth. Everyone enters your life for a season. So if you're in that space right now, walking forward with a vision and people don't seem to understand it, sis, I am telling you, keep going. Do not give up. They are not your audience. Let's shift into strategy and talk about how to communicate across relationship types. Because truthfully, you do not need to explain yourself to everyone, but you do need language that honors your truth depending on the relationship. So, we're going to break this down into a couple of different groups here. And the first one is going to be your inner circle. These are going to be your parents, your spouse, your children, and your closest friends. These are the people that feel your shifts most directly. So, when you're trying to talk to them about how or why you're making this shift, you can let them know honestly, this isn't a whim. This is something that has been growing in me for a long time. I know it may not make perfect sense to you right now or just yet, but I need you to trust me. And if you can't just exactly trust me yet, just love me while I do this. Now, here's another one that you can say, especially for parents that are looking out for your safety, your well being, your financial responsibilities. I know this sounds unconventional, but I've done the research. I've built a plan, but more importantly, it aligns with the future that I want for myself. Even if you have to look at repeating those a few times to really get comfortable with them before you actually have the conversation, it's okay. As a matter of fact, it is encouraged. Say it in front of the mirror, say it to your dog. This is all about you getting comfortable with having these uncomfortable conversations. The next one we're going to talk about is your professional network. How do you address these changes with them? This could be bosses, mentors, colleagues. They don't need to know your whole story. They just need to know your strategic direction. Now, let me say this again. So, if you've been multitasking, come back to me. When it comes to your professional network, your bosses, your mentors, colleagues, they don't need to know the whole story. They just need the strategic direction that you're going in. So, when you're talking about your pivot, you could say, I'm pivoting into work that ignites me every single day. I'm pivoting into work that integrates everything that I've been doing up until now. But I'm doing it in a way that feels more aligned with my passions and how I want to lead and live my life. I would love to stay connected and collaborate in new ways, not only as I'm going through this transition, but also after. Now let's talk about your outer circle. These are your acquaintances or Instagram followers. Maybe your LinkedIn people that you're not exactly close with, but wanted to check in and see how you're doing or what you're up to. You don't owe them a blueprint at all. So all you need to say is, I'm building something that feels deeply right. It's not for everyone to understand, and that's okay. Inform them. Do not invite feedback. Be clear, be kind, but keep it moving because those people don't need to know everything that's going on in your life. The third thing we're going to talk about is how do you navigate the pessimistic voices or pessimistic conversations that are bound to happen? Because I'm going to be honest with you, they are going to happen. Even if you're making small pivots that don't really seem that big to you, there's always going to be naysayers about what you're doing. And before we even get into it, I want you to remember one thing. You are not required to receive input just because they offered it. Everyone has their own opinion. And another way of saying it is opinions are like, and everyone's got one. So remember that when it comes to the type of feedback that you're actually going to let penetrate your skin. So as you get the naysayers or the pessimistic conversations, here's what you can say. I appreciate your concern, but I am building, I'm not defending. This decision has been made, and I would love your support, but if you do not want to offer it, that's completely up to you. Remember that protecting your energy is not rude. It's being responsible for your own well being. So, as you're going through these pivots, and you know that different people in different circles are going to get different responses or the different level of details on how or why and when you're doing this transition or pivot, what I would like you to think about is like a circle within a circle within a circle. Your inner circle, they get the most up to date and real time information. The middle circle, which would be your professional network, those are the people that get updates as you're willing or wanting to provide them only. They don't get real time. And then you have your outer circle. Those are your acquaintances, your Instagram, your LinkedIn folks. they get outcomes. They don't necessarily need to see what's happening in the trenches. Now, I will tell you that people do sometimes like to see that and they like to understand the struggles that you've gone through. But for some people, it's only to try to say that they were right, why you should not be doing things. So remember to protect yourself. There is a delicate balance in whatever you do. So please make sure that you are strategic on how much of your life you're making that public. But most importantly, please remember that your peace is non negotiable. And if people are going to be that pessimistic, they don't need to be a part of it. But what you can do is looking at finding new communities to support you. This is not the first time someone has gone through this. Learn and grow from others that have come before you. Utilize their learnings, whether they be good or bad, as a blueprint to help propel you forward. Now, I will say that not every journey is exactly the same, and we all fail. But the difference between winners and losers is the difference of who picks themselves up and keeps moving forward and trying again versus who continues to lay down. So if your current circle cannot hold your evolution, do not shrink, but rather expand. Expand your network, expand your community. Reach out to people that you know can help you. Find the rooms where ambition is not shameful, reinvention is normal, and clarity is contagious. Whether it is a women's leadership cohort, a reinvention mastermind, or a virtual support space, if you don't have a tribe in what you're currently doing, it's okay to build it. You can have more than one tribe. I know I do. I have my tribe of professional friends that are helping me learn and grow and just really blossom into myself when it comes to my business, as far as coaching, as far as speaking, and as far as this podcast. They're three different groups, but they all help me continuously. And then I have my tribe that I know that are always there for me 100% no matter what. I call them my own personal board of directors. What you need is you need people there to support you without needing a TED talk of how to support you. If it doesn't exist already, start it. Women, people in general, crave this. We crave community, we crave support. Think about it, after the pandemic, right? All of these people started coming together because we were ripped apart for so long. But on the flip side, you had so many people that were scared and worried and didn't know who they could or could not trust, who they could or could not be around. Be that support system for someone else because you have unique experiences and opportunities that you can provide to them just like they can provide to you. You are not the only one hungry for this kind of space. This path, it can be very exhilarating, but it can also be very isolating. If you are constantly second guessing yourself of whether or not you made or are looking at making the right decision, shrinking your vision to keep the peace, whether it be with your friends and family or maybe even your professional network, or if you're emotionally exhausted from trying to hold it all together because it is daunting, it's a lot. I get it. I understand. I've been there. I've been through so many different career transitions and different pivots. I've been in your shoes. When you find yourself in any of those situations, that is when it is time to seek support. And there's three different types of support that I want to talk about because all of them are extremely beneficial, but all of them are extremely different. The first one is going to be a therapist, and the therapist is going to look at your past. I will be the first one to admit I have gone to therapy. And, it's something for me that I went multiple times. I was forced to go as a child as my parents were going through their divorce. But it wasn't until the pandemic that I made the choice to go to therapy. And I am 100% firm believer that everyone should go to therapy, but only when they're ready. Getting rid of that past baggage, those past fears, what's holding you from way back, even going back to a child, that's what a therapist does. And then you have a coach. A coach does not push you. A coach pulls from within. It takes you from where you are now into where you want to grow and blossom and be. A coach walks through basically what's in your head, but has you do it in your voice. Asks the questions. Ask the questions that aren't always comfortable, but need to be asked in order to understand from right here, right now, what's holding you back from getting to where you want to be. And then the third one is a mentor. And a mentor is all about helping you learn and grow on your journey. But mentors give you tasks. Coaching, we still work on action plans, but we work on them together with you. We don't just tell you what to do, and that's more so of what a mentor will do. So if you have questions on what the difference is between a therapist, coach, or a mentor, please feel free to reach out to me. I would love to have the conversation with you because oftentimes they are either lumped together or they are intertwined as what they do. And they are three completely, yet three very useful people to have in your corner. And I actually highly encourage you to not wait until you're completely burnt out, until you're ready to give up. I encourage you to, when you're ready, have all three of these people willing and ready to support you along your journey because they all want you to succeed. They all come from a place of love, understanding, and encouragement. You are your most valuable asset. You need to treat yourself as such. So if you've been multitasking, come back to me because I'm saying that one again. You, sis, are your most valuable asset, and you need to treat yourself as such, even when it means investing in yourself, because not everyone wants to do that. We oftentimes get scared of investing in personal growth, but you cannot expect to be doing things the way that you've been doing and expect different results. So let's ground all of this in action. Let's look at 5 power moves that you can make to anchor your evolution. The first one is writing a goodbye letter to that previous version of yourself. Honor her, release her. She got you here, but it's time for you to move on from her to get you to your next leg. The second thing is craft your personal communication script. Have 3 versions of your script ready. One for your inner circle, one for your professional network, and 3 for your outer circle or acquaintances, social media buddies, etc. The third one is set one boundary for this week. One person, one conversation, one step towards your non-negotiable piece. Find and join one aligned online or in-person space. You need to be around people who normalize who you are stepping into. And number 5, take one action that says, I trust myself. No applause required, just one action that builds belief. Remember, you don't need everyone to understand what you are doing. You just need to stay rooted in your truth. It is time for the world to see you as you want to be seen. If this resonated with you, like, share, tag me in it. Let's start a conversation. And until next week, stay fierce, stay bold, but most importantly, stay unapologetically you.